Hi kawan, welcome to EDCready. Today I want to talk about the difference between a stainless steel Framelock knife and a titanium Framelock knife. I have three Framelocks in my collection right now. We have these two guys and then this guy. This is the ZT0450CF. The only difference between this and this is that this has more of a bead blasted titanium, whilst this guy has a black coated titanium frame lock. So the only difference is going to be the length of it, but for the purpose of this comparison video, I'm going to use these two guys just because they are, well, pretty much the same size and very comparable to each other. So let's start with the first difference. The first difference is that stainless steel is definitely a harder material. So what does hardness mean in this case? It means that it is going to wear down a little bit slower. So as you can see here, this is the stainless steel frame block, and then this contacts directly with the edge or the tang of the blade right there, because this is pretty much steel on steel, so they are not going to wear down each other as fast compared to this guy, which is a titanium frame block right here. As you can see here, you have a little insert there that's screwed in. That insert is actually steel, because if this is titanium rubbing on steel here, eventually it's going to rub down that titanium, and then you'll end up having a little bit of a rock lock where your knife can actually rock up and down. Now, is this very important for day-to-day usage? And by that I mean, is titanium being softer a problem? No. If you're going to get to a point where you're going to mess with the strength of titanium or the softness of titanium, then you gotta really evaluate your life. However, one big difference this softness can cause is titanium is gonna scratch a little bit more easily than stainless steel. Especially if you have something like a bead blasted finish, or especially if you have a polished titanium finish, you're gonna get something called snail trails. I'm not sure if you can pick that up, but you can already see some very slight trails on the bead blasting of this guy. You can kind of see that, and the more you carry it, the more that will come up, and then that is because of the softness. Now, softness doesn't mean it's weak. Softness just means that it can get scratched up, or maybe it can get bent a little bit easier. Again, when it comes to day-to-day usage, softness not really a big deal between these two. These two can definitely handle more than what your arms can produce. I mean, titanium and steel have been used in Formula 1 car engines for many years already. So it's pretty safe to use the softer titanium. One advantage of the softer titanium is that it's a lot easier to mill, so you can get a lot more fancy milling. For this guy, we just have a flat, slightly contoured handle scales, right? Sorry, we just have a flat handle scales right here, and you have some designs right here, but this can be a little bit more expensive because the time the machine is going to take to carve out this pattern is going to be a little bit slower because it's a harder material. As with titanium, you can get a lot more fancy milling because it doesn't take as much effort to mill into the softer material. However, the softness actually means that it's a little bit tougher, and by that I mean that titanium, because of this softness, it tends to be tougher. So the difference between hardness and toughness is that hardness resists scratching, okay, and can maintain its shape longer. However, it has a higher tendency to snap. Titanium, on the other hand, because it's softer, okay, it tends to be able to show scratch a little bit more, especially if it's a polished finish. However, that softness means that it's tougher. Its resistance to being twisted and snapping is greatly reduced because of that softness. So titanium is about 2 times tougher or 2 times stronger than stainless steel. So keep that in mind. Even though that it's softer, so you can scratch, but definitely you can use it for more harder use stuff because it has the ability to resist flex, because or has that the ability to absorb more flex because of that toughness. Another advantage of titanium is that it is a lot lighter. How much lighter? Titanium is about 56% less dense than stainless steel. So if you are a bit more conscious about the density of your knife, about the heft of your knife, you might want to go with titanium. So enough experiences right here. These guys are really right about the same size, okay, but this guy is quite a bit heavier than this guy. Of course, it might be because of the micarta, but you can definitely feel a density difference, okay, between this guy and this guy right here, and that is because of stainless steel versus titanium. Now, another advantage of titanium, and this could be an advantage or disadvantage, however you want to look at it. Titanium is anti-magnetic. Okay, so if I were to stick this into a tree, I can put my little magnetic flashlight on the scales and then like have it shine wherever I need to. This guy, if you're working with a lot of magnets, you don't want this to get magnetized. If you have a lot of metal dust around you and you don't want it to stick to the handle of the knife, you're gonna want to go titanium. However, if you do magnetize the blade right here, because it's steel, the metal dust will stick to the blade, but it won't stick onto this guy right here. Now, another advantage about titanium is that this is more of a feel thing. Titanium has a wider temperature range. Okay, it can handle lower temperatures and higher temperatures than steel. Now, this only makes sense if, or this only is a factor if you're a metrologist, if you're trying to work with titanium or steel. But as a user, you can feel that titanium is a little bit of a colder metal. It doesn't absorb the ambient temperature as fast as steel. You put this guy out, you take this guy out on a cold day, you're going to feel that it's going to be colder faster than the titanium. Although this is not really going to be a big deal. Okay, another advantage of stainless steel over titanium is that stainless steel is actually cheaper, and this makes a lot of sense. This is a much cheaper material than this guy because of those properties, because it is a tougher material, because it is anti-magnetic, because it has a wider working temperature. All these things make this titanium a much more premium steel compared to a stainless steel Framelock. Another thing I want to talk about, sometimes you're going to have a slightly different sound signature with titanium. Okay, so sometimes when you open up a completely stainless steel Framelock knife, you're going to get a more of a thud sound. Okay, it's going to be more like a clack sound. Whereas if you have a stainless steel Framelock, and I've experienced this with both my CRKT and with my Ruike knife and with the other CRKT, the Squid, the Framelock has a bit of a pinging sound. Hear that? I'll play it for you one more time. Yeah, it has more of a pinging sound, especially when you disengage the lock. Yeah, you have that bit of a pinging sound. Now, with that being said, what is good for you and what is better for somebody else? If you're going to go stainless steel Framelock, you're going there because it is cheaper. Okay, because it is magnetic if you want something to stick a magnet to. And that's really just it. The rest of the time you are just buying this because of, most of the time you're just buying this because you are more budget conscious. Whereas if you're buying this, you're buying it definitely for the premium feel. You're also buying it for its toughness, and you're buying it for that lighter feel. So that's it, guys. That is the difference from my understanding between a stainless steel Framelock and a titanium Framelock. Okay guys, thanks, and as always, stay ready.